6:46 now, 1320 WILS. It's tax time, and believe it or not, these events that we go through, filling out our taxes, many times lead to the discovery of infidelity and things like financial infidelity. Someone who's dealt with this, she's seen this happen many times, is Jasmine Dodson, attorney, a family law expert. DodsonLegal.com is where you can find her. Jasmine, thank you for joining us.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and now I'm curious, when spouses, when they start dealing with the taxes and they start seeing some financial infidelity, things that they didn't know about, is that typically indicative of other problems then? Or?
Well, anytime a spouse is keeping something from you, then of course that's going to lead to questions, and those questions are going to need answers, and the answers might not be something that you like.
What happens when you're doing the taxes and you're getting the returns? What are the telltale signs there's something that the spouse might be hiding from you?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, I encourage every spouse to be actively participant in filing your returns. Mm-hmm. Something that you can look for is all of a sudden, your wife is saying or your husband is saying, I've been working all this overtime is why I'm not coming home on time. But you look at the W-2 and it's the same gross income as last year, so there's no overtime reflected. That's kind of a clue that maybe they're not working overtime. They might be doing something else.
I see. And then now, are you a divorce lawyer also? Is that it? Or?
Yes, that's correct.
And so typically, are you looking at financial documents too like this when you're getting down to the divorce in terms of trying to figure out a person's behavior?
Well, not just with regards to divorce, but also when it comes to child support cases. I had one particular case where the obligor was continuously saying that he's not making all this money, and, his W-2s are showing that he's not making money. However, he had the experience of an IT, professional, and he was just kind of being low paid, whereas his girlfriend, who basically had the education of a cocktail waitress, was the manager of the company. So he was basically using his own company to kind of reduce his income, to reduce his child support obligation.
Yeah, that's seems like a lot of work people put into being, into sneaking around. Is this typically what you're seeing, where people are incredibly intricate in hiding what they're up to?
Well, it's not as difficult as you would think to set up an LLC, name somebody the manager, and have them pay you. It's not difficult at all. So when you're going through your tax returns and all of a sudden you see a company that has never been there before, but yet and still that company is paying the salary of someone else on the other side, it could be used to, as husbands or wives using this fictitious company to pay a salary to somebody who's not really doing anything. So it's a way to kind of cover up, like me paying off my mistress.
Is it typically connected to some kind of an extramarital affair, these kinds of financial infidelities?
Well, when it comes to financial infidelity, there are, certainly different ways that people use companies, for terrible reasons. However, in my line of work, I mainly see this type of work when it comes down to financial or marital infidelity. I
see, when they're trying to hide money here and there. And are you able to get to the bottom of it, or is it kind of easy to hide money in these kinds of ways?
A lot of times, if you find enough credible evidence, they're usually pretty eager to settle at mediation instead of trying to present it to the trial. And then all of a sudden you get a record testimony of someone basically swearing that they've committed these financial allegations. And then the last thing they want is the IRS on them.
So you just see some clues, and that's enough for people to just be like, to settle. They're afraid of further digging. Is that it?
Oh, no, not necessarily. The one commonality with the cheating spouse is that it wasn't me. I didn't do it. Oh, no, that's not me. You can show them a picture of this is you and your girlfriend and you're making out with her. Nope, that's not me. I didn't do it. So with these types of situations, you really have to have strong evidence to say, okay, this is what's going on. I've got, records. I've got bank withdrawals. I've got photographs. I've got, because you can subpoena credit card statements and all those types of things. So if you have, a conglomerate of evidence and you can present that to them, they have to take their chance and say, do I want the judge to see this and make a determination, or do I want the certainty that comes with, reaching an agreement during mediation?
Is it the men that are usually doing this kind of thing then? Or?
You know what? I hate to be a chauvinist, but right now that's mainly what I'm seeing are, the men are the ones who are getting really creative with the financial infidelity.
Are they? Is it because they're the breadwinners typically, or something else?
In the cases that I've had where there's been, financial infidelity, it has been, well, no, I take that back. I did have one case where the man and the woman were pretty equally set, and, they were both members of a country club, and, they had their own separate bank accounts, and they really had no reason to kind of get involved in each other's business. However, the wife, did start noticing that all of a sudden, there's all this cash laying around. Like, why do we need all this cash? What's going on? And then, it turns out the husband had actually used the country club as a place to meet, someone that he had been seeing, because of the fact that, you can't get into the country club. Not anybody can just get into the country club. So your business is kind of hidden a little bit.
It's Jasmine Dodson, family law expert, website dodsonlegal.com. Jasmine, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.